Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm back. This is Larry with Advanced Loan Credit Services. I'm going to be your mediator today, and I got a good and exciting class for you today. We're going to talk about Metro 2 reporting, and we're going to talk about the standard guidelines for what the collection agencies are supposed to be entering this information on your credit report and what mistakes they're making and how the credit bureaus are entering these mistakes in, which gives you leverage to get these collection accounts taken off your credit report. So you know the deal. It's time to get to the intro. You know that's what I do. I like to bring you in, get your mind going on what we're going to be talking about. So let's do it. Let's get to the intro. All right, we're back. I got my lucky you hat on today because I'm about to bring you some good information, some powerful information. Like I said, you've seen the thumbnail, you've seen the deletions I get our credit report. So I'm telling you, I'm about to give you power information about Metro 2 reporting, which is a standard guideline how credit reporting agencies are supposed to be entering this information or passing this information over to the credit bureau so they can place this on your credit report. And when that is not done correctly or inaccurate, that's when you will be able to get this stuff removed off your credit report. So for today, I'm going to show you a few little tips on things you need to watch for, why it's important to understand this stuff so you can create a better dispute letter to get this stuff removed off your credit report. Just that simple. We're not going to make it difficult, but we're going to dig deep and give you powerful information. So please pay attention to what's going on. So we're going to go through a couple of the things you need to look for in your credit report and dig deep for it. And then know how to add, by knowing this, you'll be able to ask better questions, not just of the credit bureaus, but from the collection agencies to make sure they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. So let's get started. Remember, this is Larry. I'm going to be your mediator. I'm your mediator with Advanced Loan Credit Services. Please subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up. You know, that algorithm for YouTube helps pick up these videos and shoot them out among the masses. We trying to get to the masses. You know what I mean? How that coronavirus got to the masses. We trying to get to the masses to give out positive and good information so you can use to help improve your credit rating, your credit score, so you can do what you need to do. The power of this channel is to make sure you have the power to invest in yourself, to become better financially and be able to be financially free, right? Financially free. And you can't do that if your credit is suspect, your credit is hurting. It's hard to dig out of that hole. And it's proven. It's proven that your credit dictates everything. Where you live, what school your kids go to, all this type of stuff, what you drive. I mean, just every little thing, what you buy, how you buy, when you buy it, how much you pay for it. It dictates everything. It's like your heartbeat. Like your heartbeat. And if you're not taking care of it, man, you may have a serious event in your life. So please take care of it. Take care of it. All right, let's get to it. The first thing we want to talk about when you're viewing on the accounts is the name of the account, right? So a collection agency reported this account. One thing you definitely need to look for, did they provide the original creditor alongside of that of their name as the collection agencies? The CDIA, which governs Metro 2, which a lot of people don't talk about, but I'm bringing it to you. And some states stipulate that the original creditor must be identified. The original creditor must be identified. So if you have a collection agency and they don't have the original creditor next to it and they're not identified, you need to challenge that. Right? The purpose of reporting the original credit name is to help the consumer identify the source of the account that appears on their credit report. So when you don't know where that account's coming from. I didn't open up an account with you, Midland Funding. I didn't open up an account with you, LVNV. So who do I owe this money to? Who's the original creditor? So you definitely have to make sure that's stipulated. And if they don't do that, then you dispute that. You dispute that. How do you dispute that? Please investigate this inaccurate account. The collection agency is not identifying the original creditor on this account that is stipulated in Metro 2 and also in the Fair Credit Reporting Act 605 and 623. Please delete this account, right? I'm giving it to you. That's the power. So I'm just telling you, look at collection accounts and make sure the original creditor is identified. The original creditor is being identified on those collection accounts. All right. Next thing we want to look at, the open date. When people say, what is the open date? What does that mean? Is that when a collection, is that the date that the original creditor opened the account? Or is that the date that the collector has purchased the account? So I'm going to tell you so you understand this. The date of the account was placed, assigned to a third party, or purchased by a debt purchaser. When you're dealing with a debt collector, that is the day they will assign that debt or they purchase that debt, right? So you always say, please give me the information that shows when you purchased this debt, because you're placing it on my credit report. Always challenge that, but you need to understand that's what that is. That is the date they either purchased the debt or was assigned the debt. Very important information. High credit or original loan amount. Okay, the original assigned amount as of the date placed or purchased. So that amount is the amount when they actually was assigned that account or was purchased that account. All right, so that lets you know that is. Now, let's get something a little deeper. And this is what collection agencies try to extend reporting time. And that's the date of first delinquency, right? The furthest first, and it's not showing on your credit report as a line, but you need to understand this. It is showing now. Experian, if you get the report, you notice it'll say this will report on your credit report until this date. So you just go back 7 years from that date, you know that it's, and you know when that account first delinquency happened with the original creditor, and you're good to go. You know, okay, that's right. But if that date's wrong and they're trying to, no, my first delinquency date was in August of 2010, and they're trying to say this is going to report till 2020, then they're saying they got your first delinquency date as 2013, right? It's going to report for 7 years. So they got that first delinquency date wrong and they're trying to extend it, right? So no, don't let them get away with that. Find out what's your first delinquency date, and when you send a dispute letter or validation letter into the collect, you need to ask, when is my first delinquency date on this account, right? And I tell people this all the time, when the collection agency is refusing to giving you viable information, it's a red flag. Then maybe you need to challenge them a little bit deeper, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Just always remember the first delinquency with the original credit is the date that it was placed. They purchased the debt and bought the debt. All right. Remember, the first delinquency date also falls under 605, 623, right? So make sure you put that in there when you're asking for that information, because it is a part of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Okay, so we're good with that. Now, they should be reporting. So when you look at last report date, they should be reporting this every month. If you're going to place this on my credit report, you should be reporting this account, updating this account every month. So on last report date, if you got this last report date was 9/15/2015, that's 2020, you should be challenging that. You should be going back and saying what's going on. They may not even no longer have that account. And so you need to be challenging and making sure you understand that. Last report date, last time they reported was 2014, 15, 16, 17. It's 2020, right? You should always challenge that date and figure out what is the problem, right? And then, so that's another area that you can look at, right? So be really positive. Be really positive, you know. All inquiries reporting credit information must be responded to customers' inquiries. So that's just telling you, this is in Metro 2. They should be responding to your inquiries. It is the guidelines that are set forth for them in Metro 2 format and how they're supposed to be passing that information. And that delinquency date, back to that, then it's important to make sure, I want to cover this, that they're not extending the time that they collect on this debt. That's really the most powerful thing. Now, medical debt. Now we're going to talk a little bit about medical debt. First thing we want to talk about is grace period. There is 180-day, 6-month grace period before any collection agency can report that on your credit report. Meaning that if they have you have a collection that went into, that they purchased in July, they cannot report that until 6 months later. If they report that before that 6-month period, they're in violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act under the grace period. The reason they do that, because there may be a situation between you and the insurance company. The insurance company is just taking their time paying the debt. So they trying to get away from the collection agencies placing debts on people's credit reports, especially medical debt, too fast, and errors. And then, saying that they didn't pay a debt when the debt was paid. So, 6 months is the time that they have to allow you to make sure you can take care of it, or if you have any issues with your insurance company, why they didn't take care of it, so you can get that squared away so it does not get reported. Remember, it's a 6-month grace period. If you look on there and they purchased this date on January 1st, that's what the open date is, the date of purchase and assign, and they say they got it, and then they turned around and then they reported it in April, they didn't give you 6 months on that grace period, and that's when you're supposed to go and challenge them. Please investigate this inaccuracy. The open date that the collection company has provided has not given me 6 months grace period to correct or pay for this debt. Boom. That's all you need to do. Remember, they have to give you 6 months. Please, this account, please investigate the open date of this account, which is in violation of the Fair Credit Reporting Act under the grace period for medical debt. They are not allowing me 6 months to make sure this debt has been taken care of. All right. So just make sure you understand that about your medical debt. Same thing. You got a medical debt, they better have the original creditor next to it. Another little tip on medical debt. Remember, you could have a medical debt that's placed on your credit report because maybe your child went to the doctor. Maybe your child broke a leg, something. So the child's a minor. Now you're responsible for the debt. I'm not telling you not responsible for the debt. What I'm telling you this is that the way they place it on your credit report, it just should be placed on your credit report as a debt, not a medical debt. Just a debt, because that is not your specific. You're responsible for the bill, but they didn't give you service, right? They didn't provide you service, right? But you're responsible because your child is a minor. You're responsible for that bill. So HIPAA, there's a clause in HIPAA about you cannot create a second medical bill. So if I'm looking at your credit report and I see medical debt, I'm assuming that that's your specific medical debt. It's not your specific medical debt. You didn't provide service. You didn't get anything done to you, right? But your child did. It should be listed as a debt, but not a medical debt. So that's something you look at. What I would always do is you send a letter to the original creditor saying that you may be in possible violation of a HIPAA violation, and the assigned collection company that you have assigned may be possible for HIPAA violation for creating a second medical bill and then placing it on my credit report. That could be a powerful letter to get stuff removed off your credit report. That's an approach you need to take. Just puts them on notice. HIPAA, if it's a much bigger fine, I think HIPAA is like a $59,000 fine or a $56,000 fine if that violation is proved to be true. And it's not like, $1,000 fine. That's a hefty fine. And if you find two parties at fault, then you got two parties coming out their pocket with over $50,000 in a fine. So people take HIPAA a little bit more serious. Let me give you a disclaimer. You have a lot of people out here giving y'all bad information, telling you if they don't have a HIPAA release form, they can't collect on this debt. That is so untrue. It's definitely, and it lets you know they have not read the HIPAA release. They have never read the HIPAA release. HIPAA release is the transfer of medical information. It does not protect medical billing. Now, as long as a collector is just sending you your name, first, middle, and last, or first and last, the date of the procedure, and the cost of the procedure, they are within HIPAA. That's a medical bill. Now, if they send you a bill that says any kind of medical treatment that was given, any medicine that was prescribed, anything on that, now that is a HIPAA violation because they transferred medical information. Remember, there's a fine line between those two, right? And people out there saying, send me a HIPAA release form. They don't get a HIPAA release form, and they don't need a HIPAA release form. So that's why people are having a hard time battling with medical debt, because it's bad information out there telling you what you should be asking for. That HIPAA does not tell you can't transfer medical billing or collect on a debt that you didn't pay. But that's a disclaimer. Look it up. I'm not telling you anything that's not true. It's within HIPAA, right? If you want to ask what section is in and you don't believe me, I just shoot me an email. I give you the section so you can read it. I'll send it to you in an email, right? So I'm telling you, it's very powerful information. So understand that. So what you need to know when you are trying to validate a debt and they do pass on some medical information, then you definitely need to be going after not just them, but the original creditor, because they received that from the original creditor, right? So good note to add about medical debt. Just understand that these collection agencies, they have guidelines that they have to follow when reporting this information. So you just got to know what are their guidelines, and that's what it is with Metro 2 reporting. It breaks down certain guidelines and things that they need to have to make sure they're reporting stuff on here. So recap, open date of account was purchased by a debt buyer. So when you look at that, make sure you understand that is the date, right? That is the date they purchased that debt, right? So at that point, if the service date of when you received service, right, it should be the same as that open date that open date that they purchased it, right? You need to make sure both of those are the same, right? Just make sure both of those do the same, right? So we're good to go on there. High credit, just make sure you understand that will be placed on there. Make sure you understand that the amount is correct. First delinquency date, make sure you understand that's the date of the first delinquency of the original creditor. Do not let collection agencies extend that date by changing the date. You can request that within your validation letter. When is the first delinquency date of this account? Right? So you definitely need to make sure you understand, because that can affect how long can they even be trying to collect on this debt. How long could they even try to sue on this debt? You need to know all that information. Just always K1, and that's the segment definitely dealing with medical debt. The original creditor must be identified. Medical collection debt in accordance with Fair Credit Reporting Act 623. So make sure that that's being done. The original creditor is being identified under 623 of the Fair Credit Reporting Act. So just make sure all these little tidbits is information you need to make sure you can actively put together a very good dispute letter, not just to a validation to the credit bureaus and a dispute letter to the credit bureau. You can put together a really good one. Hey, please, if you have any questions on any of these things, I just wanted to give you kind of a quick overview on things that you can look for. I have another video that's in the description if you want to get deeper into debt collections, companies, and what you should do and all that other type of stuff. Please hit in the description. I have that in the description. If you have any questions, please email me. My email is in the description. So if you have any questions, or if you want to help with a letter or something like that, I'm here to help. Honestly, I'm here to help. So if you want to do it, I can send you a letter. You have to fill it out, send it out on your own, do all the legwork behind it. But I could point you in the right direction to get you going, right? This is all about free credit repair. This is all about credit secrets, advanced loan credit services with the credit secrets. So, hey, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you spending a little time with me watching my videos. Again, hit the thumbs up. Please subscribe to the channel. Let's grow this channel. Let's get this information out. Let's help. We're going to be talking about finances, credit, building your credit report, how you should build it, what are the best steps. We're going to be talking about a lot of different things on this channel to help people get where they need to get, to do what they need to do, to be where they want to be. So, hey, I appreciate your time. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for spending a little time with me. Again, this is Larry with Advanced Loan Credit Services. You can call my number up on the back up there. If you want a live question, you want to go through email. But again, you can email me. You can check out my website, www.advanceloancreditservices.com. You can send me a message through there. I'm readily available to you. So please, 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 and thank you for hanging out with me today. This is Advanced Loan Credit Services. I appreciate your time. I appreciate all you do. Stay safe out there. Social distancing. Keep it real. Keep it out. Be honest. Live your life righteous. And let's be positive. Thank you.